to have is something that you don't need to have in order to survive, right? It's just something that makes your life more enjoyable and probably more comfortable. So for example, your Disney Plus subscription, if you have a clothing subscription where you get like a subscription box every month, that's a nice to have. Those are not things that you absolutely have to have. Now you may feel like you have to have it, but let's be honest, you ain't gotta have that for real. Once you've done this categorization, now you can really look and see, okay, what do I need to cut here? Because if you're looking at your debt on one hand, and then you're also looking at your expenses, you're like, okay, I need to get rid of this debt as soon as possible. So what can I cut over here? Or what can I replace with other things that provide a comparable experience that costs less money? And let's be honest, are you really using all those streaming services? Like, how much TV can you really watch? At one point in my life, I had Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Max, Apple TV, and I don't even watch that much TV. Like, I literally have like 3 shows that I watch, and they're all either on Hulu or Netflix. So why do I have all these other services? Get rid of that. Now, if you're somebody who like, oh, I need Stars because I gotta watch my show that come on Stars, just get Stars, for example, when there's a new season, and then cancel it once you watched it. This way you get to reduce the cost of your monthly streaming service fees while also being able to see all the shows you already want to watch. What's the point in keeping a streaming service for months after you watch the show if you're not even watching that streaming service anymore? You're just wasting money. Another tip that most people don't think about, go to your cell phone. Look up all of the subscriptions that you have for apps. Do you have any that are paid? If so, are you actually using them? Most people have 2 to 3, maybe sometimes 4 or 5 paid apps that they don't even realize that they're still paying for, that they don't even use. So cancel those that you don't use anymore or that you're not planning to use anymore. I have to caveat this and let you know that I am not here to be the fun police. All we're doing right now is simply taking what it is that you're already overspending on and replacing it or eliminating it if you don't use it. If you do use the thing or service, we're going to do our best to replace it with something that is comparable that costs less. If it's something that you're definitely not using anyway, we getting rid of that. A good example of this for me is that I had a personal trainer that I was going to see 3 times a week. Well, it's kind of expensive to go see her 3 times a week. So I actually cut it down to 2, and she already utilizes an app that tells me the workouts to do. So on the 3rd day that I was meeting with her, I do those workouts on my own. I'm still getting the exact same level of service pretty much, except I'm only seeing her 2 days in person instead of 3. But I still get the same exact workouts that I would have gotten had I been seeing her those 3 days. If you have a car note, I need you to work on paying that off, because according to bankrate.com, the average used car note is over $500 a month, and the average new car note is over $700 a month. Do you really need a $700 a month car note? Seriously? You don't need that. So if we're talking about eliminating unnecessary expenses or replacing them with comparable services or things, but give us the same level of service but cost less, let's get rid of that car. Go and turn that car in or sell it so that you don't have that average of $700 a month as a car note, or that average of $500 a month as a car note. So turn that boy in or sell it, get yourself another car that looks good and is reliable and costs you half the price. Nobody said you had to be riding around in a bucket. Nobody said you had to be driving down the street like Fred Flintstone, using his feet for momentum. Nobody said all that. You can get a nice looking car that costs a fraction of what you're currently paying in your car note. You don't need a Bentley. You don't need a Range Rover. You don't need a Benz. You don't need a Beamer. You don't need none of that. Why do you need that? So you can floss? So you can have the outward appearances of wealth without actually having wealth? You got a whole bunch of debt, but meanwhile, you over here paying this car note and all the other debt you got, but you look good while you're doing it. Come on now. You hustling backwards. Let's not do that. Get rid of the debt, get rid of that car, and replace it with a car that gets you from point A to point B, but looks really good.